All right, let's go ahead, guys, and dive into some charts today. So I hope everyone had a great start to your week. It is Tuesday, so this is being recorded after market hours. Um, Please do take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the support. So I will be taking you through some charts. We should have I don't know, maybe tomorrow will be exciting because we have Tesla coming up, we have Google. Um, Everybody's staring at Apple to see if it's really going to do something this time around. So we'll look at all those charts, but we're going to start with QQQ since I have that one already up. So let's jump off the monthly. We know the trend is up and has been up, but now we just want to get into some smaller time frames and see what's happening. How did we do today? How did we close? So still intact. Price is getting a little bit below the wolf trend moving average on the weekly, on the 3 day, getting a little bit weak, but every time you think it's weak, it punches a whole new all-time high. So it's like you cannot try to call the top on these. You have to be very strategic with any type of shorts. So on today, QQQ was down $2.92. That is after punching in a high of $566.06. So one clue I'll show you in a different time frame that had given me the signal to go ahead and swing some shorts on QQQ. I'll show you where that was at. But one thing was that one, we have this wick right here. And also we were not able to close higher than this candle here. So I felt based on some of the charting and when we go a little bit into some smaller time frames, gave me a bit of confidence to go ahead and swing some shorts at the right time. So those did close like over 200% today. So that was a very successful trade. And I pretty much was done for a day after that with just QQQ swing. So really when you catch QQQ and SPY and have the opportunity to actually swing it, buy shares when it's low, you kind of can just let that all cook. Now, one thing that I still have on my chart just for observation is there is still a chance that QQQ can come down as far as 533.85 testing support. That's pretty bearish scenario, and we'd have to have a real big pullback to see that happen. So right now we'll play it just as I always tell you. Market previous day high and low. Take note of the fact that we close under yesterday's low. So yesterday's low was 562, 62.06. We closed at 561.25. Only losing $2 because we did recover some of the drop from the morning hours. Now, I do want to, let's see here. There was some news, shout out to Manny, where we have, I think, a deal with Japan. I haven't really read into it yet, so I'll take a look at that and see if that can have any influence. But of course, at any time, when it comes to tariffs or just political news, it can influence and move the market. So you always have to just keep that in mind. We never know what we will get out of the president that could definitely influence the market up or down. So on the 4 hour, we're getting price falling below the wolf trend moving average. It's giving like a slight early signal of some weakness here. But again, we've been punching all-time highs. And as you can see, we push a high, we pull back to this cloud, we push another high, we pull back into this cloud, we push out. So that's your trend right now. It's been always climbing up, even though price is always going to come back and test your 12, your EMAs, right? So it's going to like take a push away, but it's coming back to it. Just kind of picture it, I don't know, maybe like a stairway. Well, we still have this order block here on the 4 hour that we could potentially pull back to somewhere around 556 and um the lower scenario will be 551, but I don't know if that will happen or not. I'm not making any projections that it will. So yeah, look another order block here. If we're just going through the time frames where we see we can pull back to that 557 area. So I'll keep 557 69 as something to watch for a potential pullback. Otherwise, you're going to look for your retracements back up. And again, you can use previous day high and low and layer in your pre-market high and lows for that. What I do see in a 3 hour is that we did get an inverse arc. I'm sorry, an arc forming here, which is a bearish signal and a trend reversal. And it played out correctly where it pulled to that 12 EMA on the 3 hour. let's see. On the 2 hour, we also have the same signal here. So again, we're getting a pullback. We just have to wonder if we'll get back to like 557, 556, 555. And I would look for support again to hold around 555 if that was to happen. So where I was very confident in my short position was sometimes I'm on the 45 minute, just kind of, and I kind of like the 45 minute too for some early signals of what may happen on the 1 hour and the 2 hour and up. So one of the things that I noticed on Monday was that we were weak here, right? We had equal highs that had formed. We were not able to break, and the candles were kind of giving clues. So I waited, and we did get this arc confirmation here on Monday where it was giving another bearish signal. My thought process was indeed that we'd fall somewhere around to test some of the support here, which we did. And we went through this order block and then recovered and kind of didn't do too much special after that. So my move was in entry and then just allowing it time to play out with some time on my contracts. I'm not a big fan of ODTEs, and that has worked out better for me. So being allowing it to swing overnight, getting the pullback early in the morning, that was a good move right there. So again, QQQ slight pullback. As you can see, even on the 45 minute, we found some support there, which is holding it. But again, we still have a potential pullback to 557 in that 555 area where we have more demand. So we'll close QQQ and move on to Tesla. When we look at Tesla, let's just go to the daily on Tesla. We're nearing some resistance. So I do have that marked on my chart with an alert just in case Tesla get here. It does not mean that Tesla can't push through this. However, this is where things can get a little bit choppy as we are working through an order block here. Now, Tesla has earnings reporting tomorrow, the 23rd, after market hours. So then you have to ask yourself if you're taking any trades on Tesla tomorrow, what's going to happen? Earnings and after hours. We don't know what's going to happen. So we don't know how the market is going to react. You want to protect your capital. So you have to understand that any trades that you hold on Tesla after hours can work out for you. It may not work out for you. It makes some people rich and it has some people sad and broke. So you have to protect your capital and just make wise decisions here. So what I'd be looking for is to see if Tesla is going to break out from their candle here. Kind of was the inside day wicking down. It did have a nice pullback. I remember I did see and give an alert to watch the pullback on Tesla because it gave a really nice recovery when we go down to the smaller time frames and find our Tuesday pullback. Okay, so this was Tesla's opening candle, pullback, pullback. And after that, it did a really nice recovery. And so then we get the inverse arc, and then it just kind of did a steady climb from there. So with Tesla, again, you can mark your pre-high and low, also watch the daily candle, but keep in mind that we do have earnings and target is getting pretty close. So we have 340.57 as the target. So there could be a nice move still to be made on Tesla on tomorrow if it shows signs of being bullish. Even on a pullback, you probably can get a nice pullback. So I'd be watching to see how volume looks on Tesla. And then again, 340.57 would be just my initial target. You probably have to look here too at this candle 338 as another target. Overall in Tesla, we have the floating candle here, level 3 confirmation off the wolf chart. Did get a pullback to 12 EMA, so and then it popped right back up. And so let's just see what Tesla does tomorrow. How you can trade what's in front of you. I'm not sure I'm going to even trade it. All right, let's look at Apple. We could take some of this off the charts. It's pretty clear what we need to happen with Apple, right? When we just look at it, and they're trying. They have tried with these wicks to clear through this order block. It's been sitting here since May of 2025. So that's their hurdle now. We've done it a few times where we've tried to break out, and so now we just need to make sure that price is starting to hold above 214.57, somewhere around there. We're going to take it to the daily just to get an idea at the battle. And so yeah, we're getting some nice signals. So look at this. We're getting an inverse arc crossover. We're getting the crossover of the wolf trend moving average. That's giving us a nice signal of a trend reversal after this pullback. Then we're trying to get to this 200 weighted moving average in the cloud. And then, I feel like it can squeeze to about 216 and then, kind of can average it up to like a dollar each ideal move. So more accurately, we could probably get to like 219.40 if we can break over the 216.20. It's this candle this week right here, 216.23. Then we'll look to see if we can get to 219, maybe even 220. They have earnings on the 31st, so keep that in mind as well. Earnings is coming up. So what I'm looking for is just to see if there's any volume that shows up on Apple. It has just been annoying. So I made a joke. I was like, you guys could probably get your move now on Apple because I sold out of it. And it definitely did just that. So I think I just said I had enough right when it got under 213 and it made a move from there. So yeah, I gave a gift to the lady. I was joking with the ladies, and I sold here. I'll look at Apple again tomorrow and see. I was only looking for a small hold, shorter dated hold on it, but yeah, if they can get started to finally get above like 215, 216, and I just would take it a dollar move. So Apple, same story, honestly. We're just right back again in that same position. Google has earnings tomorrow as well. So we have Tesla and Google reporting earnings. Let's clear some of this out the way. All right, so looking at the daily chart on Google, they still have a nice opportunity to get to the 200s again. And when you want to look and see, I just would go to like the monthly chart if you're not familiar with where Google has been before. So their all-time high was punched in at 207.05. And currently the stock is sitting at, where did we close today? We closed at 191.34. So still a nice opportunity for Google now that it has broken here 181.11, which was something I've been watching for Google to break. As you can see, it broke it and it held support. Even if it was not making any bigger moves, it held support. And then it started to give this candle here. Today wasn't that day to give another like strong marching candle. So again, we'll just watch it. The market could be waiting on earnings. So we'll just make sure that if there's any nice moves for tomorrow to be made, we follow that. So it closed at 191.34, which is above the closing of Monday's candle, 190.10. So the high of Monday's candle was 190.29. I would still watch that to see if we stay above it. And also I would watch the high of this candle here, 191.65. See if we break it and start to make some moves. Just looking to see if I see anything else. Not necessarily. Okay. So yeah, Google, yeah, it still looks good to get to the 200s as long as they can keep pushing. But again, earnings is tomorrow, so we'll see what the market is giving from there. Um, let's see what's been on. Oh, let's look at Bull. So I know that the small accounts are definitely active on Bull and doing very well trading this stock. Webull made an announcement that they would be adding crypto. Let's look at the events. So some news came out about trading crypto on Webull. So it says Webull is bringing back crypto trading in the US during Crypto Week. So that was an announcement, and I think that's when we got a nice pop. I've had a few little targets on here to hold as support. And let's just look at it from the daily. So from the initial pop, this is why if you've missed a train, it's better to wait for a clear breakout over to the next level or allow a pullback. Because if you waited for this pullback, you were able to get an entry in and then it went right back to what I have on my chart at 160, I'm sorry, 1670. Now, to get an idea of where Webull has been, so you don't have to look too far to the left, it's this candle here, and it's sitting at 79.56 as their all-time high. So this, I'm sorry, this is a 3 month. Let's go to the monthly chart, which is still going to be their all-time high. Their all-time high as of now is at 79.56. And so we have Webull at 1697, guys. So I feel like if it's gonna do some moving, it's still a great opportunity on this stock considering how high they recently were. You can see it here from the sell-off. Man, imagine sharps on this if you were able to get sharps, but now it's trying to break out. And so what I have as my next mark, and this is again, you can just look to the left, right? Like if you just look at price action, I won't hide the chart because I'm moving a little bit quick on this video. Just look to the left. So we see that this was at one point um, holding at 1885. Then we get this candle here with this wick holding at 1885. So I'm thinking that as long as we can hold 1670, we have a chance to start climbing back to that 1885 again and ideally breaking it. So I would look for one to break above the high of this candle here. I would look for Webull to also start to break above 1770. And then definitely if we get to 1885, be watching. You might as well or set that on might as well set that as an alert on your charts. So I won't go into any too deep into the time frames. It is giving strength, and I think that we could see a target after we break above around this 1720 area. We can see a target of that 1885 test. And then what you want to make sure is that we're breaking it because as you see here, on the last attempt, we didn't. So that's the story on Webull. We did Tesla. What else has been on the watch list? Oh, I wanted to show the NVIDIA chart. And the reason being, I think I might have covered it in a video or maybe it was a one-on-one, but what I wanted to show, oops, is the gap fill on NVIDIA. In fact, as I was prepping last night, I did look at the chart and I was just looking at the signal here that started on the 18th that we were getting a pullback on NVIDIA. And so my thought was that, they're not too far off from filling this gap right here. This is the closest gap that they have, based off of this candle. And then if you're trying to understand it, let's just take this off for a second so you can visually see the gap fill here. All right, so we have this candle right here. So this candle, and then we have a gap up, right? And we didn't have any candles following to close that gap until this candle today. And so we closed the gap, pulled back quite a bit here, which is what was helping QQQ pull back, in my opinion. NVIDIA can sometimes drag QQQ with it up or down. So we had that, and then we've kind of been chopping around here and we're losing it again. So now we have to start making projections. So I have a lower target of 160.98 and somewhere around this 162.54 area, but we can look at it from our wolf chart and see what we're getting. So yeah, we've closed the gap. Look at the wick as soon as we hit this order block. One of the reasons why I love the wolf chart, it just makes all the visuals work together once you learn the system. So once we hit this order block, I already knew what time it was. QQQ hit a similar order block on their 2 hour. I'm not trying to be stuck in positions of an order block that we really haven't had a lot of candles trying to chop through. So you're able to close your position as you see we're hitting this bullish area, and indeed it did pop. So after closing here at hitting a low of 164.59, if we look at it from a smaller time frame, you can see the reversal. And it's been chopping right at the line where I had the gap fill. And then at closing, it pulled back some more. So You can pay attention to Nvidia as well from where it's at to see where we could potentially go from here. We have closed the gap. There is a smaller gap if you look right here, and that's why I have it on my chart. From this candle, we have this pullback here, and then we gapped up here. So there is another gap that we can potentially come back to fill. Not saying it's going to happen anytime soon, just some things to keep in mind now that we've closed one gap. Um, that will be it for NVIDIA. QS, right? We already did our thing with QS, but look what happened today. Just gonna go to a small time frame, and I am just going to look at extended hours for a second. All right, so QQQ, oops, sorry, QQQ, QS. Let's find Tuesday. Okay, so this will be our after hours here, right? So US Tuesday was down all the way as low as 11, I guess you can almost say 11:20-ish. And then immediately when we open, this was the pre-market high, somewhere around 12:22. We just shot up, right? And then they shot up, breaking this high, pre-market high area, and then it just kept going from there. So it hit it all the way up to about $14 before market close. So I was catching a gap down on it on Monday here, and then it gave a really nice move up. So it's been giving some nice moves. It's small account friendly. So if you're still trying to trade something a little bit smaller, buy shares of it, know when to sell, practice your entries and exits. I say you can still follow this one as an option for you. So I'm not going to cover SPY. Just see if there was anything else on my watch list before I wrap up. I don't know why I have 2028 on there. We covered Tesla. Palantir. We can look at Palantir. And Palantir actually was a really nice trade if you caught what the chart was saying on yesterday. So we'll just take this away. We're in regular hours, and look at the double top formation right here on Palantir. Had I known that, and you know, I haven't had Palantir on my watch this week very much. Had I, or even last week, this was a really nice move, right? So look at the perfect double top on Palantir. So after doing this, doing the basic double bottom W pattern, it it also showed this formation here where we get this high and then this high, and then look at the pullback on Palantir from there. So if all that played out from the rejection, let's put the wolf chart on so you can see how the wolf chart action. All right, so we get a lot of selling pressure, and on Monday we get this. We get an order block, we get the arc forming. We're getting all the signals of a reversal on this, and we're also not breaking the high. That's why I would say look to the left, where you can see a more recent high point. So we were not able to break that. We get all the confirmations, and so we close Monday under the 200 cloud. And then we gap down from this high point around 155 all the way down to 145. I mean, that's a really nice swing based on a double top. All of our confirmations on the wolf chart, when you just look at it, bearish order block, selling pressure, arc forms, we lose our EMAs, and we just shoot down. And then we get the crossover here between the 12 and the 200. So I want to cover the Palantir chart. Where we are with Palantir right now, and I do have to wrap up for a Zoom. Palantir is at the 12 on the daily. So I would definitely mark previous day high and low, but just keep in mind that we are going to have a pretty wide range here because we went as high as 151 and then as low as 145. So just mark that. It could be an inside day. Definitely want to be careful if we start losing a 12 EMA here and even support under 148 again. Could come back and test this 142, maybe after a visit around 144. So I did have to push this video out a little fast. I hope you find value in it. I will push another video out tomorrow. There were some requests for a little bit more learning in the video coming up. So because this one had to be quick, I will be more thoughtful to go through top-down analysis again with everyone and kind of take my time to show you how to look at different scenarios on a chart from a higher to lower time frame. Again, if you find these videos helpful, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. I do appreciate it. And thank you. Have a great evening.